Psalm 73, verse 1 to 3. Truly God is good to Israel, to those who are pure in heart. But as for me, my feet had almost stumbled, and my steps had nearly slipped. For I was envious of the arrogant when I saw the prosperity of the wicked. I was reading this the other day, and the first time I read it, it struck me that it's really talking about that salesman who does whatever he can to get his customers to sign on the dotted line so that he can take home his bonus check at the end of the month. Or that person who's willing to walk over other people just so that they can promote their career or their social network or whatever it is that they're building. The first time I looked at this the other week, it struck me that it was talking about being envious of the wicked. But then something, I don't know that I could put my finger on it, something stood out to me. So I read it a second time, a third time, a fourth time. And then I realized that the focus of these three verses is on the middle verse, verse 2. As for me, my feet had almost stumbled and my steps had nearly slipped. You see, it's not about whether or not the person that you're looking at is evil or righteous. The point is that he almost slipped in his faith. And the key word is envy. He was envious of what he could see other people were doing. And as I continued to read these three verses again and again and again, I started to realize that I've been to Christian conferences where you hear a testimony that's better than a testimony I've ever had. And you feel that sense of, I wish I was like that. I wish I had a salvation story that was like that. I wish that when I prayed, those things would happen. And I would go home from that conference, and out of envy, I would spend more time with the Lord, hoping that somehow I'm going to become more righteous or more powerful in my Christian faith, which we all know that's not how it works. Let me read it again. Truly God is good to Israel, to those who are pure in heart. But as for me, my feet had almost stumbled and my steps had nearly slipped. For I was envious of the arrogant when I saw the prosperity of the wicked. This reminds me of 1 Timothy chapter 6, verse 6. But godliness with contentment is great gain. Godliness with contentment is great gain. And as I was reading the psalmist, it finally clicked in my head that godliness, like living a godly lifestyle, without contentment, that lifestyle is enough, that's not the same as just being godly with contentment. It doesn't have the same impact on our life. Imagine being the world's greatest preacher, but then always feeling like you didn't do enough. Godliness, while being content with your godliness, that is great gain. And for me, it all comes back to what the psalmist says. Truly, God is good to Israel, to those who are pure in heart. Truly, God is good to the people that pursue godliness. And I don't have to look at what another person's doing. I don't have to compare myself to what they're saying or what they're achieving, because I am called to be content with what God has done in my life.